If you are over 60 and you start your morning the same way millions of older adults do, with a glass of milk before anything else, this is something you genuinely need to hear today. Not because milk is your enemy, not because everything you have been doing is wrong, because there is a difference between drinking milk out of habit and drinking the right milk with intention. And for someone your age, especially if your doctor has ever mentioned the word creatinine, if your ankles have been swelling by late afternoon, if you wake up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom, or if your blood pressure has been harder to bring down than it used to be, that difference is not small. That difference may actually matter more than you realize right now. Most people over 60 do not think of their morning glass of milk as something that could be quietly adding to a health problem. It feels wholesome. It feels like something you were taught to do from childhood, something responsible, something healthy. And for much of your life, it may have been exactly that, but the body you have at 62 or 68 or 74 is not the same body you had at 35, and that is not a criticism. That is simply the truth of how we age. The rules that applied to your body decades ago do not all apply in the same way today. When it comes to the kidneys specifically, that shift matters enormously. Here is what most people do not think about when they pour that first glass in the morning. When we are young, the kidneys are strong, fast, and efficient. They handle whatever we send them without complaint. Extra minerals, extra protein, extra fluid, it all gets sorted, filtered, balanced, and sent out. The kidneys of a healthy young adult have what doctors call reserve capacity. They can handle more than the minimum. After 60, the kidneys have already been working for 6 full decades. The tiny filtering structures inside them, called nephrons, begin to slow down. Some stop functioning entirely over time. The kidney's overall filtering capacity decreases gradually. That reserve capacity shrinks. This is not a disease. It is simply part of aging. What it means in practical terms is that things which placed no real burden on your kidneys at 30 or 40 may now be creating a workload that is harder to keep up with. The difficult part is that you often cannot feel this happening. The kidneys are remarkably quiet in how they struggle. Do not send sharp pain signals the way a pulled muscle does or a headache does. They simply slow down. They filter a little less. The waste and minerals in the blood begin to accumulate a little more. The first sign is often a blood test result, doctor, points to almost casually a creatinine level that has moved upward, a GFR number that has come down a few points from where it was last year. And then the questions start forming in your mind. What did I eat? What have I been drinking? Something I do every single morning be making things harder without me even knowing it? The honest and uncomfortable answer is that yes, it can. And one of the most overlooked contributors to daily kidney strain in older adults is not a food people consider dangerous. It is sitting in the refrigerator right now looking completely ordinary. The type of milk you drink every morning. Not whether you drink milk at all, which kind you are choosing, and what that choice contains. Regular cow's milk carries a significant load of phosphorus, potassium, and animal protein. For a healthy young person, those are not problems. The body manages them easily and efficiently. For an older adult whose kidneys are already filtering at a reduced rate, each glass quietly adds to the daily mineral and protein burden. Phosphorus that the kidneys cannot fully clear begins to accumulate in the bloodstream. Potassium that builds up above safe levels can begin to affect the heartbeat in ways that feel alarming and are genuinely serious. Animal protein breaks down in the body into waste compounds, including urea and creatinine, and when the kidneys are filtering slowly, Those compounds linger in the blood longer than they should. None of this appears on any warning label. It happens slowly, invisibly, one glass at a time. The encouraging news is this: you do not have to give up the comfort of a morning glass of milk. What, doctor? Natalia James wants you to understand today is that the choice you make at the refrigerator each morning is more meaningful than most people realize. Because some milk options are far gentler on aging kidneys than others. And making one different, more considered choice each morning, repeated consistently day after day, may help reduce the daily burden your kidneys are being asked to carry. It may not feel dramatic. It will not feel like medicine. But over weeks and months, consistent small choices are exactly for how long-term health is shaped or damaged, one ordinary morning at a time. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 3 milks that older adults with kidney concerns may want to consider most carefully. These are not miracle drinks. No single food or beverage can reverse kidney disease or bring creatinine numbers down overnight. But when you are over 60 and you are watching your numbers, when your doctor has asked you to pay closer attention to what you eat and drink, choosing the right milk is no longer just a personal preference. It becomes a meaningful daily act of caring for yourself. One essential point before we begin. If you are already on dialysis, your nutritional needs are significantly different from someone in early or moderate kidney decline. Dialysis changes the entire nutritional picture, including protein requirements, fluid limits, and mineral targets. Everything in this video is general educational information intended to help older adults ask better questions and make more informed choices. Your doctor and your renal dietitian know your specific numbers, your specific stage, and your specific medical situation. Please use what you learn here as a starting point for a more informed conversation with them, not as a replacement for their personalized guidance. That said, let us look at the first option on our list. Coming in at number 3, unsweetened cashew milk. This one surprises a lot of people. The word cashew makes many people hesitate. Cashews are a nut. Doesn't that mean the milk made from them would be high in minerals? That be worse for the kidneys? It is a fair and understandable concern. But here is the thing. When it comes to choosing a milk for kidney health, the question is not really where the milk comes from. Question is what that milk actually contains once it is in your glass. Specifically, how much phosphorus, how much potassium, how much sodium, and how much protein are entering your body with every cup you drink. Let us start with phosphorus, because for aging kidneys, phosphorus management is one of the most critical conversations in kidney nutrition. When the kidneys are healthy, excess phosphorus is filtered out of the blood efficiently and removed through urine. But as kidney function declines, that process becomes less reliable. Phosphorus begins to accumulate in the bloodstream, and when blood phosphorus rises too high, body responds by pulling calcium out of the bones and blood vessels in an attempt to restore mineral balance. Over time, this weakens bone density and causes damage to the walls of blood vessels. For someone already managing blood pressure and cardiovascular health alongside kidney concerns, this is a cycle nobody wants to be caught in. Unsweetened cashew milk tends to be notably lower in phosphorus than regular cow's milk. But beyond just the quantity, there is another important distinction that is worth understanding. The phosphorus found in plant foods exists in a form that the human gut absorbs less completely than the phosphorus in animal products or in synthetic food additives. This means that even the phosphorus present in cashew milk may not impact the bloodstream as heavily as an equivalent amount from dairy. Think of it as the difference between carrying a heavy weight in your arms and carrying the same weight in a well-designed backpack. The load is more distributed, more manageable, less immediately taxing on the system carrying it. Potassium is the next number to pay attention to. Kidneys slow down. Potassium can accumulate in the blood above safe levels. Most people associate potassium concerns with bananas or orange juice, but regular cow's milk is also a meaningful source of potassium with every glass. Unsweetened cashew milk is generally much lower in potassium, which may make it easier to stay within safe daily limits for someone whose doctor is actively monitoring those levels. Then there is sodium. Fluid retention, swollen ankles, a puffy face in the morning, blood pressure that keeps trending upward. Sodium plays a central role in all of these. And while most people focus on the salt they add at the table, sodium is also present in many packaged drinks and processed foods in amounts that quietly accumulate. Unsweetened cashew milk, when chosen carefully, is typically low in sodium, which aligns well with the broader goal of keeping blood pressure more manageable and reducing the fluid overload that strains both the heart and the kidneys simultaneously. There is also something meaningful worth saying about the type of fat in cashew milk. It tends to contain monounsaturated fats, which are the same general category of fats found in olive oil and are generally considered more favorable for cardiovascular health than the saturated fat found in full-fat cow's milk. And for someone with kidney concerns, heart health is never a separate conversation. The kidneys and the heart are deeply interdependent. When blood pressure is consistently high, kidneys experience accelerated damage. When the kidneys are struggling to filter properly, blood pressure tends to rise further in response. They support each other when both are functioning well, and they pull each other down when either one is under sustained strain. Choosing fats that support healthier blood vessels is a quiet, consistent way of protecting both systems at once. Cashew milk is also typically low in protein, which can be a meaningful advantage for those in pre-dialysis stages who have been advised to moderate their overall protein intake. Every gram of protein the body processes leave behind metabolic waste products that the kidneys must filter and clear. Lower protein milk means fewer of those waste products added to the total daily load. It does not eliminate the concern, it reduces one part of it. Now here is the warning that applies to every milk on this list, and it may be the single most important thing you hear in this entire video. Not every carton of cashew milk is created equally. Many commercial products add phosphate compounds specifically to boost their calcium content and make the nutrition label look more impressive. You will see ingredients like calcium phosphate, tricalcium phosphate, or dipotassium phosphate. On the front of the carton, this gets translated into language like calcium enriched or bone supporting, and it sounds like a benefit. But for aging kidneys, added phosphates can be absorbed by the body much more aggressively than the naturally occurring phosphorus in plant foods, turning what appears to be a kidney-friendly product into something that quietly works against those goals. The rule to follow every single time you shop is this: before anything goes into your cart, turn the carton around and read the full ingredient list. Not the front, not the marketing. The ingredient list on the back. If you see any word ending in phosphate anywhere in that list, consider putting the carton back and looking for a cleaner, simpler option. The shorter the ingredient list, the more likely that product is actually working in your favor. Now let us move to number 2, unsweetened rice milk. This is the understated option on the list. When people talk about dairy alternatives, rice milk rarely gets the attention it deserves. Oat milk is everywhere right now. Almond milk has been popular for years. Soy milk has a long and established history in many cultures. For someone specifically managing kidney health, unsweetened rice milk may deserve more serious consideration than it typically receives, precisely because of how gentle and mineral light it tends to be. Rice milk is generally among the lowest of all milk alternatives when it comes to phosphorus, potassium, and sodium. And that combination is exactly what aging kidneys often benefit from most. Not richness, not a long list of added nutrients, not a label full of health claims. Just a lighter daily mineral load. Think of your kidneys as two longtime employees who have shown up faithfully for over 6 decades. They are still working. They are still doing their job. But they cannot manage the same pace and volume they could at their peak. The most supportive thing you can do is not demand more of them. It is to reduce the unnecessary load so they can continue doing what they do steadily without being overwhelmed. When it comes to phosphorus, rice milk tends to carry less than cow's milk. Plant-based form is again typically absorbed less aggressively by the body than phosphorus from dairy or from food additives. Over time, consistently lower phosphorus intake through daily beverages may support more stable blood phosphorus levels, in turn reduces the stress placed on bone density and blood vessel integrity. Potassium levels in unsweetened rice milk are also typically much lower than in cow's milk. For someone whose doctor has specifically mentioned potassium, and this conversation comes up frequently in the context of kidney health, choosing a lower potassium milk each morning can be one of those small, steady habits that accumulates into a meaningful shift over time. Potassium is not something many people feel building up. It often shows up silently in a lab result. And when it goes too high, the effects on heart rhythm can be severe. Taking it seriously in daily choices is not paranoia. It is wisdom. The sodium situation with rice milk, again, when you choose an unsweetened, unflavored product without added minerals, is also often quite favorable. Lower daily sodium intake helps blood pressure stay more manageable, reduces the tendency for fluid to accumulate in the legs and face, and reduces the workload of the kidneys in maintaining fluid and electrolyte balance throughout the body. Rice milk is very low in protein as well. For those in early to moderate kidney decline who have been guided by their medical team to reduce protein load, this can be a quiet daily advantage. Kidneys do not just filter out the food you can see on your plate. They filter the byproducts of everything your body processes, including the nitrogen waste that comes from breaking down protein. A lower protein morning beverage reduces one portion of that daily filtration demand. One thing to stay mindful of is product variation. Rice milk products differ quite significantly across brands. Some contain added sugars, added flavors, or added mineral compounds. For someone managing diabetes alongside kidney concerns, and these two conditions are closely linked because sustained high blood sugar is one of the primary drivers of kidney function decline over time, choosing an unsweetened rice milk is non-negotiable. Added sugar creates blood glucose spikes, and repeated spikes contribute to the vascular damage that progressively impairs kidney filtering over years. The label on the front will often say things like natural sweetness or lightly flavored. Turn it around. Read the ingredient list. If sugar appears in any form near the top of that list, choose a different product. And just as with cashew milk, watch carefully for phosphate additives in the ingredients. The front of the carton is designed to attract you. The ingredient list on the back is where the truth of what you are actually consuming lies. People who take their health seriously have learned to read the back first. And now we arrive at number 1, unsweetened flax milk. This is the choice that does something the other two do not quite do in the same way. It does not simply aim to reduce the burden on the kidneys. It may also offer the body, and specifically the blood vessels that supply and support the kidneys, a degree of additional benefit that makes it stand apart from the others. Flax milk contains alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acids have been studied extensively for their relationship with inflammation throughout the body. And for older adults with chronic kidney disease or declining kidney function, inflammation is not a peripheral concern. It sits at the center of the problem. The kidneys do not always weaken because of a single identifiable event. More often, they decline under the sustained, low-grade pressure of inflammation, elevated blood pressure, poor blood sugar regulation, oxidative stress accumulating quietly over years and decades. The decline is like the slow erosion of a riverbank. No single rainstorm is responsible. It is the unrelenting, daily pressure of water against stone, season after season, year after year, until one day the structure gives way in a way that can no longer be ignored. Including a daily source of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids does not reverse that erosion once it has progressed. It may be one thread in a broader approach that supports the body's ability to manage inflammation more effectively. When that thread is combined with lower sodium intake, better blood sugar management, appropriate physical activity, consistent medical monitoring, and the right medications taken correctly, choosing a milk that contributes omega-3 fatty acids rather than adding to the mineral burden becomes a quietly intelligent daily decision. It is not dramatic. It will not feel like a treatment. It reflects a way of thinking about your morning routine that goes beyond habit and moves toward intention. When it comes to phosphorus, unsweetened flax milk is often among the lowest of all available options, provided it has not been heavily fortified with phosphate additives. The same warning that applies to cashew milk and rice milk applies here with equal force. Read every ingredient list, specifically for any word ending in phosphate. If it is there, choose a different brand. Potassium in unsweetened flax milk is also typically very low. Some brands contain almost negligible amounts of potassium, which can give people with tighter potassium restrictions more room to include other foods throughout the day that they might otherwise need to avoid. That kind of flexibility, earned through a careful morning choice, has real value in day-to-day life. Sodium in a simple, clean, unsweetened flax milk product is generally quite low, which supports the goals of blood pressure management and fluid balance that are so central to protecting kidney function over the long term. And the protein content of flax milk is also very low, which again may benefit those not yet on dialysis who are working to manage their overall daily protein load under medical supervision. For those who are on dialysis, Dr. Natalia James wants to be completely clear on this point. Protein needs on dialysis are often significantly higher than for someone in earlier stages. Dialysis removes protein during treatment, and the body needs adequate protein to compensate. Do not restrict protein without direct, specific guidance from your nephrologist or your renal dietitian. The information in this video is not designed for people on dialysis to follow without professional modification. Your situation is different, and it requires professional guidance that is specific to you. For those in earlier stages, making a deliberate daily choice toward a lighter protein, lower mineral morning beverage is one of the quieter but more consistent ways of reducing the overall demand placed on kidneys that are already working below their previous capacity. So let us bring the three together clearly. At number 3, unsweetened cashew milk. Tends to be lower in phosphorus and potassium than cow's milk, offers heart-friendly monounsaturated fats, and is typically low in protein. Choose one with no added phosphate and no added sugar, and read the ingredient list every time. At number 2, unsweetened rice milk. It is one of the most mineral-light options available, consistently gentle across phosphorus, potassium, and sodium. Simple, easy to use in a morning routine, and favorable for those also managing blood sugar. Choose unsweetened, choose unflavored, and read the back of the carton before it goes in your cart. And at number 1, unsweetened flax milk. Carries the advantages of being gentle on those critical minerals, and it also brings plant-based omega-3 fatty acids that may support lower inflammation and better vascular health, which matters for the long-term protection of kidney function in ways that go beyond just reducing the daily mineral load. What all three of these share is a single underlying logic. They offer the possibility of a lighter morning habit. 1 glass every day, carrying less of the phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and protein that aging kidneys find hardest to manage efficiently. That is not a dramatic medical intervention. It is a small, repeatable, daily act of consideration for a system that has been working without rest since the day you were born. Before we finish, Dr. Natalia James wants to give you a simple and practical starting point for the next 7 days. Nothing extreme. No radical overhaul of everything in your refrigerator. Just a series of small, deliberate shifts that you can actually sustain. On the first morning, before you automatically reach for whatever milk you usually drink, take 30 seconds. Pick up the carton. Turn it around. Read the ingredient list with fresh eyes. Look for any word ending in phosphate. Look for added sugars near the top of the list. Note what you find. You are not committing to anything yet. You are simply paying attention, perhaps for the first time, to what has been going into your body every single morning. The next 7 days, if your doctor has not placed restrictions that would prevent it, try incorporating one of the 3 milks from today's list. Unsweetened cashew milk, unsweetened rice milk, or unsweetened flax milk. Start with roughly 1 cup per day. Do not overdo it. Pay attention to how you feel. For breakfast during this week, keep the meal as simple and low sodium as you reasonably can. Packaged breakfast foods, processed cereals with high sodium content, cured meats, and frozen convenience meals all add mineral and sodium loads that your kidneys then have to process. A lighter, simpler breakfast gives your kidneys a more manageable start to the day. At lunch, make a conscious effort to fill a larger portion of your plate with vegetables appropriate for your dietary guidance. Keep starch portions moderate and keep protein in line with what your doctor has recommended. You are not weighing everything on a food scale or tracking every milligram. You are being thoughtful, which is a different and more sustainable thing than being anxious. At dinner, aim to eat lighter rather than heavier. Kidneys do not stop working overnight, but they do tend to have a lower workload when the evening meal is not loaded with sodium, heavy sauces, or very large protein portions. Many older adults with kidney concerns find that lighter evening meals also improve sleep quality and reduce the frequency of nighttime urination. That alone can make a meaningful difference in how you feel each morning. During this week, spend a few moments each day making simple observations. Did your feet or ankles swell today? Did you feel unusually tired by early afternoon? How many times did you get up during the night? What was your blood pressure reading this morning compared to last week? You are not diagnosing yourself. You are gathering information about your own body, information that becomes genuinely useful when you bring it to your next doctor's appointment, rather than simply saying you feel about the same. Purpose of all of this is not to replace your medical care. It is to help you show up to that care more informed, more observant, and more active as a participant in your own health. Your doctor can only work with what you bring them. When you bring observations, patterns, and specific questions, you get better answers and better guidance. You have been living in this body for more than 6 decades. It has carried you through more challenges, more seasons, more difficult days than you could easily count. What it needs from you now is not fear or guilt about what you have been doing. It needs patience, attention, and the kind of steady, daily care that shows up quietly in small choices made consistently over time. Choosing a different milk each morning may seem like one of the smallest possible changes, and measured against the scale of life, it is. When you are over 60 and your kidneys are working harder each year just to maintain balance, the small choices made every day are not trivial. They are the foundation. They are the accumulation of either burden or support that your kidneys wake up to every morning. If today's information gave you even one useful thing to bring to your next doctor's appointment, or one more reason to read the back of a carton at the grocery store, then it has done what it was meant to do. Please share this video with someone in your life who is managing kidney concerns, blood pressure struggles, or rising creatinine levels. Sometimes it's the most genuinely helpful thing we can do for the people we care about is pass along information that helps them ask better questions. And if you want to continue learning practical, straightforward nutrition guidance designed specifically for adults over 60, subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. You are not trying to change everything overnight. You are simply trying to make one more considered choice than yesterday. That is enough to begin. Take care of yourself. Be patient with your body, and remember that every small step taken consistently is still movement in the right direction.